One. 1, 2.
Shit.
Check me out.
I've been
right
cut
here,
already.
yo. Turn the track up a little bit. All up in my ears.
Who the hell is
The
that?
mic is loud, but the music is loud. Yeah. Yeah. Now the mic is low now. Now the mic is low. My shit's all the way.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
It's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke and that I'm gonna be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
Don't believe this. Well, you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up to say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life.
No disrespect, but don't do the Jay-Z and the Damon Dash, boy. Don't do that. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, Dame and him, they was like, we all we got. Remember that when they was rapping? It was just like, it's just the two of us, we all we got. We ain't never going nowhere. And then they went somewhere. And what happened was, they started making money. See, that was all they had when they was broke and coming up. But when everybody started making money and everybody started fighting for camera time, are you hearing what I'm saying? Then they end up splitting up. You got Kobe and Shaq split up. If Kobe and Shaq had stayed together, I guarantee you the Lakers would have won 3 more, 4. You ain't have a better tangent than them two. But guess what happened with Scottie Pippen and MJ? They never got into it. They always sat down and worked out their differences, and that meant 6 championships in a row. 72-10. Y'all could go 72-10 if you stop fighting each other. It doesn't make sense for us to come together and do this eating and go back to doing what we was doing before we got here. That's not the reason we came. We didn't come to eat. We didn't come to pass cards and be fake. That's not why we're here. We're here because we have what it takes to leave here and work together in a way we've never worked together before. Why? Because if we're divided, how in the world can you ask these kids from different wards not to be divided? I'm just saying, like, I can tell you divided. So a kid is gonna be like, don't tell me what to do when you're not doing what you're telling me to do.
Because there's somebody out there who wants your spot. And so you gotta embody excellence. It's one thing to be hungry, it's another thing when you're starving. You're starving for greatness and starving for success. You start training, train like it's your life, not a game, like it's your life. Like this the last opportunity, the only opportunity.
See a guy like me,
I knew someone was better than me. There's more talented people than me, probably more talented than you. But you might outwork me for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, but you ain't gonna beat me over a year. You can't outwork me over 2 years. You aren't gonna outwork me over 3 years. I'm gonna get you eventually. I'm a dripping damn faucet. I just keep coming at you. You might think I'm knocked out, I just keep coming. I'm too damn tough to give up. Most people half-ass half their life all the time. I knew they were gonna get tired. They were gonna flinch. They were gonna get down. They quit improving themselves. They start sleeping in. They spend all their damn money. I'm not gonna do that stuff. I'm gonna save money. I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna keep getting wide. I'm gonna stay relentless.
So then what's the breakthrough? What did those teams see to unlock the full power of teamwork? You know, that's the hard part. You can't see the edge. You actually don't know where it is until you cross over and look back and see where it was. That's why it's always easier. I mean, it's always easier to catch up than it is to raise the bar. Because the team that broke through, they marked the line. And now everyone else, they just need to get over that mark. The Patriots, Belichick, Brady, I mean, what they've been doing is so unbelievable because they keep raising the bar. They keep nudging it higher. So even if people catch up, it's too late. You know, Steve Jobs and Apple.
For the first time ever, I'd like to let Macintosh speak for itself.
They were operating in this abyss. I mean, they were out there in this vast unknown. So instead of breaking through, instead of seeing the line, you have to forget the line. It's just another limit. The marker in great teams is never external. Because you're out in this unknown. You're out in this unmapped territory. So instead, the power of teamwork comes from a belief. It comes from a mindset. We can't get satisfied by the breakthroughs. We can celebrate them. We should celebrate them, but we can't be satisfied by the limits. That's what humbles me the most about great teams. That's what humbles me the most about the power of teamwork. Because it's almost like you've got to operate in the darkness, knowing you're lighting the path for everyone else, and still heading out there, still pushing that edge. That's how to unlock the power of teamwork.
What's the difference between a gazelle and what's the difference between a lion? What I discovered is the gazelle is running from something. So as long as the lion is chasing the gazelle is running. But as soon as the lion stops chasing the gazelle, it stops. And that's a lot of you in this room. You will run. You'll do what you're supposed to do. As long as you're getting pushed, as long as you're getting motivated, as long as somebody is encouraging you, as long as somebody's coaching you, as long as somebody's pushing you, as long as somebody's prodding you, you're doing what you're supposed to do. As long as somebody's calling you, as long as someone is enticing you, as long as somebody's giving you rewards, you're moving. But as soon as that stops, you stop. I asked myself the question about the lion, and I said the lion is not running to be rewarded. The lion is running to eat. Because the lion realizes when he kills the gazelle, not only does he eat the gazelle, but he brings it back home. So you've got to ask yourself, what's your why? What motivates you? What pushes you? What drives you? And if that thing is internal, if nobody has to call you, if nobody has to prod you, if nobody has to reward you, if you are self-motivated and self-regulated, you can have it, you can be it, you can do it. When you are a true hunter, you don't go by time, you go by the gazelle. You don't hunt from 8 to 3. Why? Because the gazelle may not be open from 8 to 3. You hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one. And then you get another, and then you get another, and you get another.
We surround ourselves around people that make us feel great. They tell us what we want to hear. The second we put ourselves amongst the uncommon people, we don't like that feeling, that challenging feeling of that person who's waking up at 3:30 in the morning and say, hey, put your shit on, we're going for a run. We don't like that challenge. We like that person who says, hey, you know what, man, I don't feel good today, man. And they say, oh, it's okay, brother. We'll take a day off, man, we'll get a pizza and shit, watch the game. We like that. We love that feeling. Why? Because you understand, man, we're good, bro. We don't want that motherfuckers like this. Hey man, no, bro. Get your fucking shit on, man. Stop being a punk.
Stop to think about this for a moment and realize that every team that accomplished the untouchable, every team that got out there, every team that had done what had never been done before, they all had to break through. They all had to understand that there was this edge. And then they had to challenge the edge. And then they had to break through that invisible line. They all had to do it. Because in order for teamwork to be at its highest potential, everyone's got to have something on the line. You have to. Otherwise, you're only part way in. At the end of the day, you're going to need to trust those around you. To fully trust. This is about us. And you can count on me.
We need those who can see the world differently, create something new, bend the future path in a better direction. But let's also learn about what it takes to join forces with others. Let's recognize the incredible spirit that allows great teams to come together. Let's also lift up those gifts. Because what does great teamwork take? Cooperation. The willingness to fit into the strengths and weaknesses of others. Commitment. The choice to keep showing up. The decision to keep being accountable to the needs of many. Contribution. The agreement that we may need to each give up some of our self-interests, to give up on me first, in order to reach the full height of we. When we stop to think about the inner strengths needed to play your full part of being on a team, it's extraordinary. Some of my favorite moments in life have come through teamwork. Being arm to arm with a group who's worked and fought and strived to do something that they could only do when working together. That is how greatness takes shape. That is the beauty of teamwork.
Because here's the deal. Things always go great for a team until they don't. And then what? What happens in that moment? When the team is breaking down, people are pulling apart, what happens then? Because that's the decision point. That's when teams decide, become great or stay average. For teams, it's not just the test of talent, it's the test of teammates. Because before teams are great, before they are legendary, the teammates needed to decide. Chicago Bulls, knocked out of the playoffs by the same team 3 times, ready to explode. Then unbelievable happened.
And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
The Bulls have learned their lessons well. They've grown up.
Steve Jobs and Apple, torn apart, emotions at their height, until they figured it out.
In hindsight, it was a terrible mistake for Steve to be pushed out.
This is what makes us great. Man on the moon, no precedent, no rule book, nothing easy about the years of quiet work before the headlines were written. Long before success, teammates are tested. That's when they had to decide. Something starts the fire. Great teams always have potential, but then something happens. Everything comes to a head. They didn't win the battle. They didn't reach their goals. The true challenge becomes real. You know, we all think we're signing up for the championship. The push to reach the goal that everyone is watching, everyone's cheering for. We get that part. We think that's the test. And of course it becomes the final exam, but the first test is always earlier.
Steve Jobs.
That was the decision point. Things get hard for teammates. How do we respond? Back against the wall, emotions boiling up, second guessing begins. We think it's just effort, desire, commitment to reach our goals. All that matters. We know that's coming. But what about the trust after that breaks down? What about the belief after the momentum's been lost? What about the dynamics after the split has started? Of course you were signing up for success. Who isn't? But did you know you were signing up for the messy part that comes first? That's why the teams that are willing to take on that part, that accept it, that use it, that's why they win. So what do? You now know the test. and the test has likely arrived.